In the previous video, we learned about the haplorines and their general characteristics. In this video, let's dive deep into the classification of great apes.
After all, we, the humans, are also great apes. Great apes belong to the superfamily Hominoidea, a highly derived group of primates. The recent restructuring of primate taxonomy reflects the biochemical and evolutionary closeness of these species, leading to the designation of all great apes, including humans, within the family Hominidae, recognizing that humans are unequivocally great apes.
To really get a handle on this, it helps to think like a detective, piecing together this massive, ancient family tree. So let's trace our own branch and see exactly how we're all connected.
Okay, it all starts with the family Hominidae. And let me tell you, this was a huge deal in the scientific world. For the longest time, we thought of humans as being in a league of our own, totally separate. But well, the DNA doesn't lie. It shows, very clearly, that we belong in the same core group as orangutans, gorillas, chimps, and bonobos. We are all hominids.
Now, let's zoom in one level. We get to the subfamily Hominini. You can think of this as the first major fork in the road of our family tree. It's a split that's based on geography. So on one branch, you have the Asian great ape, the orangutan. And on the other branch, you've got all the African great apes. That's the gorillas, the chimps, and yep, us.
The picture gets even sharper when we look at the tribe Homini. At this point, from within that African group, the gorillas branch off onto their own path. And that leaves just two lineages standing together: humans and our closest living relatives, the chimpanzees and bonobos. This classification really just drives home how incredibly recently our evolutionary paths went their separate ways.
And this brings us to a really important term you'll hear a lot: hominin. So when you hear that word, it's referring specifically to our branch of the tree, the one that started right after we split from the chimpanzee lineage. It includes us, Homo sapiens, and all of our extinct bipedal relatives, like the very famous Lucy.
Okay, so we'd mapped out the family tree. But these connections, they're not just written in our DNA. They're literally built into our very bones. Let's take a look at the shared physical blueprint that all great apes have inherited from our common tree-dwelling past.
And it really all starts with the brain. I mean, compared to other primates, all great apes have remarkably large and complex brains. What's absolutely fascinating is that we all share some of the basic neural hardware for producing speech. That's a region called Broca's area. But the ability to fully comprehend complex language, well, that came from a later upgrade that was unique to our own genus, Homo, the development of Wernicke's area. All right, let's talk about a tiny detail that tells a huge story: our teeth, specifically the Y5 molar. If you look closely at the lower molars of any ape, and yes, that includes your own, you'll see that the grooves between the 5 bumps, or cusps, form a really clear Y shape. For paleontologists out there digging up fossils, this little pattern is a dead giveaway that they found an ape.
Sticking with teeth for a moment, our African ape cousins have something called the honing complex. It's basically a built-in self-sharpening system where the massive upper canine grinds against a lower premolar, keeping it razor sharp. This is mostly used as a weapon for male-to-male competition. And one of the biggest clues we have about our own evolution is that our ancestors lost this feature. That points to a major shift in how we started to interact socially.
You know, you can see a really fundamental difference in our body plan just by looking at the torso. Monkeys, for example, who mostly walk on all fours, they have a narrow, deep chest. But great apes? We have a short, shallow, and wide rib cage. This design is built for an upright posture. It's perfect for climbing and hanging from branches, and it turned out to be a critical pre-adaptation that set the stage for our ancestors to eventually start walking on 2 legs.
That upright trunk is really part of a whole package deal for life in the trees. It's known as the suspensory hanging adaptation. Think of it like a toolkit that includes things like supermobile shoulder and wrist joints, arms that are longer than the legs, and these long, curved hand and foot bones that are just perfect for grasping branches. It's a direct physical link to our arboreal past that every single great ape still carries with them today.
Okay, so we've seen the physical blueprint. But being a great ape is about so much more than just anatomy. It's also about what's going on inside the mind. So now, we're going to shift gears from bones and teeth to behavior, tools, and the complex societies they build.
This table here reveals a really fascinating link between an ape's body and its social structure. So if you look at orangutans and gorillas, the males are much larger than the females. That's a trait we call high sexual dimorphism. And it's directly linked to social systems where one dominant male tends to have multiple partners. Now look over at chimpanzees. The size difference is more moderate, and their social groups are more of a multi-male, multi-female mix. And then there's us, humans, with a pretty low size difference between sexes, which aligns with our general tendency toward pair bonding. The anatomy really does reflect the social strategy.
Compared to most animals, great apes live life in the slow lane. And this isn't an accident, it's actually a core evolutionary strategy. We all take a very long time to grow up, with a long period of childhood dependency. The most extreme example is the orangutan. A mother there might only give birth once every 8 years. The reason for this slow pace is the price of intelligence. This extended childhood is absolutely crucial for learning all the complex social and survival skills that are needed to thrive.
Here's a simple, but I think really beautiful shared behavior. Every single night, all great apes build a fresh nest to sleep in. It seems to be a universal instinct for comfort and for safety. It's just incredible to think that millions of years ago, our own direct ancestors were very likely doing the exact same thing, night after night in the forests of Africa.
When it comes to non-human tool use, chimpanzees are pretty much the undisputed champions. They'll meticulously select and modify sticks to go fishing for termites, and they use heavy stones as a hammer and anvil to crack open tough nuts. And this isn't some hardwired instinct. It's a complex skill that they learn by watching others. It's a true form of animal culture that gets passed down through generations.
And hey, tool use isn't just a chimp thing. Orangutans, who were really the great thinkers of the forest, are also incredibly skilled at this. They'll craft sticks to perfectly probe for insects or to get at the seeds hidden inside a tough, spiky fruit. This just goes to show that the capacity for problem solving and planning ahead is a really deep-seated trait throughout our entire ape family.
You know, for years, scientists wondered if gorillas also use tools in the wild. Well, that mystery was finally solved back in 2005 with a landmark discovery. Researchers actually watched a female gorilla pick up a large stick and use it like a walking staff to test the depth of a pool before she tried to cross. It was just a huge moment. It proved that tool use is a fundamental behavior shared across all the great ape genera.
So ultimately, whether it's a chimp fishing for termites, an orangutan scooping out seeds, or a gorilla testing the water, these behaviors all tell the same exact story. They reveal a deep cognitive ability for abstract thought and for problem solving. It's this complex inner world that truly unites all of us in the great ape family.
In the next video, we will learn more about few remarkable characteristics of great apes in great details. It will help us to understand more about human evolution.